few weeks ago, HDZero released their AAO15 all-in-one flight controller. Shortly later, we then saw these, the big update for the HDZero goggles called the Goggles 2, and today we have another new product from HDZero called the Halo ESC. Now, this is HDZero's first fully fledged 4-in-1 standalone ESC capable of up to 70 amps. It's designed to be paired with their Halo flight controller that they released a few months ago that had Express LRS built in. But don't think this is just another ESC, because whilst there is some interesting design choices, there is something else very interesting about this ESC, and that is the fact that it comes available with Heli 32, and I ain't talking about any of those test factory only versions. Now, this isn't going to be a review as such, it is an overview, and what we're going to do today is give you an overview of what this new ESC is all about. I'm going to walk you through this Heli situation, I'm going to show you it under the microscope, and then at the end I will share with you a few thoughts. Before we get into it though, I just want to say that HDZero did send me these products over to take a look at for free. They have not paid me to make this video, they have not seen this video before it's been published, and as always, my thoughts are entirely my own. This is the HDZero Halo flight controller. Now, they released this a few months ago, and it's HDZero's take on what they believe is the perfect flight controller for racing, but as well as general everyday FPV use. As you can see, it is a 20x20 flight controller, and it even has some real nice features like Express LRS built in. To accompany this, HDZero have now released their own ESC, and it is called the Halo 4-in-1. Now, this is a 70 amp rated ESC that supports up to 40 volt 8S battery input. It's available in two different versions, Heli 32 as well as AM32. And before you start thinking on Heli 32, this isn't like some of the others that I've tested out there. This appears to be fully fledged, fully licensed Heli 32 using the standard configurator, and I will talk about that a little bit more later on. Now, often there isn't a lot to talk about on an ESC, however, HDZero have put in a huge amount of effort into this one, and what we're going to do is give you an overview of this, because there are two versions, as I've said, and they actually even look a little bit different, as you can see here, but also everything that Carl has done to try and make this the perfect ESC, not only from a functionality perspective, but also from a reliability point of view as well. So, as you can see, the Halo is rather interesting in the fact that it is a split board design. You have your main thick copper PCB, which is an 8-layer PCB with 3 ounces of copper per layer. You then have a second PCB on the top, which mounts onto the main PCB that has all the microcontrollers on. Now, this allows HDZero to actually use the same base board on the ESC, but with different microcontroller designs. So if we look here, this one is the AM32, and this one is the Heli 32, and as a result of that, you can see that they actually have different microcontrollers, different setups, but what it means is they can use the same main base PCB. That main PCB, as I've said, is an 8-layer board with 3-ounce copper. It houses the 24 FETs located on both sides of the board, and it supports up to 70 amp on all 4 ESCs for 30 seconds, or a peak of up to 100 amp on all 4 ESCs for up to 3 seconds. Carl has actually put in a huge amount of effort into testing this, and I'm going to be showing you some of the information that he shared with me in his testing a little bit later in this video, just to demonstrate how much work they've put in to try and make this ESC as good as it can be. Looking around the board in a bit more detail, as I've said, you've got your main microcontrollers on this separate board. These are the AT32F421s running at 120 megahertz. We've got dual current sensing shunt resistors. You've got fully wired and castellated copper pads all the way around. You've then got this large copper bar on this side here, helping not only with cooling, but also current carrying capacity of the ESC as well. We've got dedicated holes for our capacitor in there too, and it features a 20 by 20 mounting pattern just like their Halo flight controller. One other thing that you will notice about this ESC, if I move it around under the light, is the fact that it is fully conformally coated. There's actually a really thick level of coating on this second PCB, which should not only offer additional protection, but also keep the dust and dirt out as well. And then obviously the rest of the ESC is conformally coated too. Again, just offering additional protection. Now, you might have noticed there are a couple of other subtle little differences between the AM32 and the BL Heli. The green PCB is pre-production. The actual production BL Heli version will have a white PCB, just like you have on the AM32. And you can see that there is separate motor and drivers on the AM32 version, whereas on the BL Heli 32, it's combined motor drivers. But other than that, they are pretty much the same. When it comes to size, if we just check the width first of all, if I just pop it in my vernier calipers, we're talking 33mm wide. If we go total length, we are talking 43. And with regards to weight, if we pop them on the scales, we will put both on just to make sure that they are the same. Here we go. We pop on the AM32, 13.81, and the BL Heli, 14.04. Very slight difference between them, but basically around 14 grams. When it comes to the mounting pattern, this is a 20 by 20 mounting pattern ESC, just like the Halo flight controller. There is no 30 by 30 available, so that is going to limit you with regards to what frames you can use this with. It's obviously designed for racing applications, but if you did want to use this in general freestyle FPV, you're going to need that 20 by 20 mount as well. Now, as I've mentioned already, when it comes to software, there are two versions of this ESC available. You have an AM32 version and you have a BL Heli 32 version. Now, I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of which is better between AM32 and BL Heli 32. There are people who absolutely love AM32. There are people who prefer BL Heli 32. What HDZero have done is given you the options of both. Here we have the AM32 version. This is all pretty straightforward. Here I've got it connected via the online configurator. You can see that it is showing the version as HDZero ESC down there, F421, and we have the current firmware version as 2.18, and that's the same across all of the ESCs. Now, obviously, it supports all of the main features of AM32, all of the usual D-Shot options, and you can configure this all via the web UI. When it comes to this one, the BL Heli 32 version, this is where things get a little bit interesting. Now, I've spent some time doing some checks on this, and I've spoke to Carl as well, and as far as I can tell, this is running fully supported BL Heli 32 32.10. It is not running any of the test activator versions. It is not using 32.9. It is fully fledged BL Heli 32 32.10, fully supporting the standard configurator. Here I have the official BL Heli 32 32.10 configurator. I literally just downloaded a fresh version before starting this video. What we're going to do is connect to the ESC. We'll wait a second for it to read in, and then you will see the information shown on each individual ESC. You can see it is an ESC HDZero _ Halo revision 32.10 multi. It is not a test version. It is not 32.9. This looks to be the fully fledged, fully licensed BL Heli 32 32.10. Now, this is incredibly interesting in itself. My understanding is Carl is actually buying the MCUs pre-flashed with BL Heli 32 on board. As far as I can tell, it is fully legitimate, fully licensed, and what that means for users is they can now buy a new ESC with BL Heli 32 on board. For racers especially, this has been something they've wanted. There's a lot of people who fly BL Heli 32 who want the 32.10 because there's some important fixes in 32.10 that are not in 32.9. Some things around arming after a crash and a couple of other things. And as a result of that, this is going to make a lot of people very happy. Now, obviously, the Halo ESC isn't the first ESC that HDZero has made. They have their AIO5 and now their AIO15, but this is obviously their first standalone ESC. And as a result of that, they have put in a huge amount of work to try and make sure that this ESC performs as well as it can, but is also as reliable as possible. Carl has actually shared with us a white paper where he goes over the main specifications of the ESC, but also touches on some of the testing that he has done as well. And he shared videos testing the ESC in various different scenarios. We have, for instance, a maximum current test on a single motor for 80 seconds. He has full 4 motor tests at maximum current up to 40 seconds. Again, showing you not only the current draw of the ESC, showing you the thermal performance and demonstrating that it is working as expected. He has full throttle stop testing to ensure that the ESC performs as expected in the event of an instant motor shutdown. What's really cool is Carl has also shown some of his destructive testing as well, where he was doing tests on the ESC and shows you the actual failures, the ones that didn't make it through, and shows you actually that he has gone through a full series of testing on these ESCs to ensure that they are behaving exactly as expected. He's gone through 3 revisions and done a huge amount of testing to make sure that we get the ESC that is not only going to perform great, but also be reliable as well. Now, I'm not aware of any other manufacturer showing this level of detail of testing. It's really great to see this kind of information, especially for the technical people like me, to give you sort of an in-depth understanding of not only the kind of tests that have been done at the factory, but it also gives you, the user, a confidence in the product as well. When it comes to buying the ESC, you have a couple of options. You have the standalone option, which you can get, again, in either AM32 or BL Heli 32. That is just the ESC itself, obviously in the box. And then underneath at the bottom, I'll just tip it out, you will then have all the additional accessories included with it as well. They include a little bag which has our ESC pinout connector, our grommets for mounting it, and some additional wiring connectors as well. They do include a capacitor in the box, which is a 36 volt 1000 microfarads. And then we have a pre-wired XT60 cable as well. You can also, though, get this as part of the Halo kit now, which gives you both the ESC and the Halo flight controller. And again, this gives you that complete out-the-box solution. A real nice feature about this Halo, as I mentioned at the start of the video, is the fact that it's a flight controller but has dual antenna express LRS built in as well, and this is a complete ready to go Halo kit. You've got your ESC, you've got your flight controller, and then again, if I just flip it up underneath, you have all your accessories that you need. You've got your capacitor, you've got your express LRS antennas in there, your pre-wired XT60, as well as our mounting hardware as well. Now, when it comes to price and availability on these ESCs, there's going to be several different options. The standalone Halo ESC, as you see it here, either in the BL Heli 32 or the AM32 version, is going to be as follows. The BL Heli 32 is going to be $75 and the AM32 is $70. That is the standalone version with all the accessories that I showed earlier included. You then have the Halo kit pricing, which is going to be available in 4 versions. The Halo kit is the ESC and the flight controller. As there are 2 versions of the ESC and 2 versions of the flight controller available, there is 4 kits that you can buy. So for instance, the Halo flight controller with the AM32 ESC is available for $125 with the ICM 42688P gyro, or $145 with the MPU 6000. When it comes to the BL Heli 32 version, the price increases slightly. So again, the flight controller with the MPU 6000 and BL Heli 32 ESC is $150, and the version with the ICM 42688 is $130. The basics are you're paying an extra $5 for the BL Heli 32 version of the ESC, and all of this pricing is pre-tariff pricing, and actual pricing may vary depending on your country. The next thing we're going to do is get it under the microscope just to give you a bit of a closer look at exactly what the board looks like, and we'll have a look at some of this castellation in a bit more detail as well. So, looking under the microscope. Now, this is going to be quite limited today because of that conformal coating, because it's going to hide a lot. However, let's start at the bottom down here. We can see our main battery input pads. You can see there, they are both plated with wires. These are also fully castellated. So if I just come up there, you can see the copper going down through the layers on that. If I move around to the motor pads, you'll be able to see these in a bit more detail. Again, you can see the wires drilled through these nicely. And if I go up to the end, starting up here, you can see that castellation. You can see that copper going all the way through. We've got pads on both sides of the PCB, so it's not just top. You're going to have plenty of copper there to bite onto. And you can even see the copper between the layers there showing on the sides. Again, looks really, really good. With regards to that top PCB, it looks like it's pretty much flush mounted to the main board. We've got a bit of fluff there. You can see with the conformal coating. You then got your FETs. I can't tell you what they are. I've struggled to identify them through the conformal coating. I've tried to have a look. I just can't work it out what they are. I'd have to remove some of the coating to show you. Soldering though on the pads looks good. If we then just move around the rest of the board, everything's under that conformal coating, but all of the soldering looks really decent. No real sign of tombstoning on components. Everything looks good. We've got capacitors there on each motor output. And then if we look at the main board, this is under a real thick layer of conformal coating. So it's quite hard to show you anything under this other than what you can see through it. This is the BL Heli 32 one, obviously. A little bit of flux there by the look of it left on the capacitors. But overall, really good. Now, you'll notice on the back of this ESC that there's this big copper bar. Now, this not only helps with the current carrying capacity, but it also helps stabilize the power delivery on the ESC as well. It's something Carl was explaining to me in his testings he found. It just helps with the overall power delivery, but it also offers some additional cooling as well. Now, overall, there isn't a great deal to show you other than that, because again, as I've said already, this conformal coating does make it quite difficult to show you exactly what is going on. If I now just hop over to the other version, again, you can see there's a different layout on this board compared to the other one, but the rest of the ESC is the same. We've got our dual shunt resistors, we've got our FETs, our castellated pads. Everything else is exactly the same. It's just a different choice of MCUs. As I said at the start of this video, this isn't a review because I haven't tested it extensively. I haven't had enough time to do that. But I just want to say a few things about HDZero because they are evolving into a really great company for FPV. It started with Sharkbite HDZero. It's evolved into what we have today. We had the HDZero goggles, we then had the Box Pro goggles, and now the new HDZero goggles 2 that I reviewed just last week on the channel. We then had them move into other components. They released their AIO 5, their AIO 15 recently. We had that Halo flight controller, and now we've got the Halo ESC. They are building up an ecosystem of really great components for FPV. A lot of these are really aimed at racing, but that doesn't mean they are just for racing. And HDZero are doing an incredible job because they are filling a gap that many people are not doing, especially with the likes of that AIO 5 and AIO 15. They are phenomenal little controllers. And now you've got the full Halo stack with BL Heli 32 for racers, for people who want that firmware, and it's great to see HDZero deliver. I think these are great looking products. Obviously, it's not a review, so I can't tell you what they're like over time, but I see zero to worry about here, and it really is a big congratulations to Carl and the team for, again, giving us something that people have wanted. We've got the Halo FC, we've got the Halo ESC now, so a really nice little race stack, and then we've got all of those other stuff building up around it. And again, it's just really great to see HDZero continue to push in this direction. Now, if you're interested in any of these, there will be a link to my HDZero Goggles 2 video in the description. But if you're interested in these, there will be a link to them on the HDZero website below. It is actually an affiliate link. HDZero are one of the few companies that I do use affiliate links with. I want to say a big thank you to Carl at HDZero for sending these over to me to take a look at. And finally, I just want to say, if you'd like to support the channel, please do consider checking out the link to my Patreon, as well as buying me a coffee. It is only through the support of my patrons I'm able to keep making content on this channel. And if you'd like to support us, please do consider checking it out. I want to say a huge thank you to all of my Patreons. We would not be able to do this without your support. Anyway, that's it from me on this one. Stay safe. I will speak to you soon.